Elaborative Interrogation. You could have a crystal ball. Here's why. What if I tell you there is a really good way of predicting what questions could be on your test? And no, I'm not talking about ready-made Quizlet cards that you can find online. Although those do help sometimes. Okay, this is simple, but here's the trick. As you're studying, put yourself in the shoes of your professor. What would you ask your students? In other words, what would you put on the test? Then try to find a scenario in your life in which that knowledge would actually be useful. And don't just never. Actually think about it. See if there's a scenario that you can think of as like, oh yeah, this could be useful here. Finally, identify what are the bits of information that you can learn now and kind of just forget after the test. So as you're reading the text and studying it, you're actively engaging with it. You're asking questions. You're logically going through, okay, what could happen? You're thinking through it. You're going through the facts, going through the logic and all of that. This method is called elaborative interrogation, and it can actually be used during different moments of your study sessions. Anna, who is the person that teaches this course in Portuguese, actually likes to use this technique as she is rereading. Because remember how I said rereading things is just a passive process? Well, when you're actively asking questions and engaging with it, you're making it a much more active learning process. And that's how she combines both of those ideas and actually gets something that's a lot more useful for her. But Luis, what are the questions that I should ask? Okay, fair. Let me give you an example. So as you're reading through the paragraph, ask these questions. 1. What from this text could my teacher ask me? 2. If this were to be a multiple choice question, what would that look like? 3. Same thing, but what if you were an essay question? And 4, what about true or false question? Also, depending on the subject that you're studying, you could go for a lot more specific questions, such as when did this event happen? Where did this event happen? Or really the favorite one, why did it happen? Eventually, I figured out that history professors, at least at my school, they really liked to ask why, which makes a lot of sense, right? Like if you're having a war, what led to the war? What was the cause of it? Why did it happen? They wanted to see that we knew why all of that took place. Plus, they knew that you could look up dates on Google. That's fine, that's easy. Because when you understand the why of things, well, you're not just memorizing some dates that you're gonna forget after a test, but that means you're actually engaging with the material, the context, and how it happened, why it happened. You see, you're actually using your logic through it, so it makes a lot more sense for a teacher to ask their students that. So now that you can actually sort of predict what your teacher is gonna ask, you know what you can go after, what you can study for, and you stop wasting time with things that might not matter as much. And just to close up, this is a fast, easy to apply technique, and if I were you, I would get very consistent with it.